What's up guys, on today's video I am bringing you the maxiest of max cushion daily trainers. This is Puma's brand new MagMax, and it actually brings a lot to the table. Let's get into it. Okay, first things first, you know the drill, some disclosures. Puma was good enough to send me this pair of the MagMax for the purpose of review. However, they haven't told me what to say. They don't have any editorial privileges, and all the thoughts and opinions are my own. With that said, you're going to be able to pick up a pair of the Puma MagMax for $180. And of course, I'll place links in the show notes below in case you want to pick up a pair for yourself. So I think people throw around the word max like it's confetti, but in this case, it really does fit. The MagMax has a stack of 46mm in the heel, 38 in the forefoot for an 8mm drop. Now, I know you're thinking this is a big shoe, and it's certainly not light, but it is lighter than I thought it would be. Anyway, Puma claims that in a US men's size 9, it'll tip the scale at 10.23 ounces or 290 grams. However, in my size, a US men's size 13, it tips the scale at 13 ounces even or 369 grams. Now, I'm having a hard time finding comparables to the MagMax, and I really couldn't find anything directly comparable, but of course we've got the Hoka Skyflow. Now the Hoka Skyflow has 40 in the heel, 35 in the forefoot. It costs $20 less than the MagMax, and in my size weighs about 30 grams less. Next up we have the Mizuno Wave Sky 8. Now the Mizuno Wave Sky 8 will cost you $170. It has 41 in the heel, 33 in the forefoot, and in my size tips the scale at 21 grams less than the Puma MagMax. So all that to say, the MagMax is admittedly slightly heavier than the competition, at least the competition that I had in my running shoe stable, but it's not that much heavier, especially when you consider that the MagMax has quite substantially more stack height than either of those two other shoes. And what's more, the Puma MagMax handles its weight very well, but we'll get into the ride after we talk about the shoe itself, and we'll start at the top, work our way down. You can see we have a good amount of padding around the heel collar. Puma does make a very comfortable shoe. The heel counter it's rigid. It is rigid. Now, I'd say it is semi-rigid, but it's definitely on the more rigid end of semi-rigidity because it's not rock solid. I can kind of press it, but either way, I didn't have any heel slip in the MagMax. The shoe was just as comfortable to put on as it actually looks. Now we can see right here on the heel, Puma has included almost like an Adidas style heel pull. And I actually didn't notice this until I brought it into the studio to start talking about it, so I didn't actually use it. But it's there in case you do need a little heel pull. But for me, these shoes slip on and slip off beautifully without having to give this thing a tug. The MagMax is using a lovely engineered mesh upper, and it's reinforced with power tape. You can see it written here on the side, and basically that's just giving the upper a little more structure. Now this engineered mesh is actually quite stretchy. At least it feels stretchy when my foot is in it. So even though, look, I think that looks fairly narrow, but it didn't feel like a narrow shoe at all. I'm not entirely sure how wide foot friendly the Puma MagMax is, but my feet had plenty of room to splay, and I didn't notice my toes at all. That's a good thing, right? Usually on narrow shoes, I'll notice my little toe touching the edge. I didn't have that in the MagMax. It was just beautifully comfortable. As far as overlays go, we have the Puma here on the front, obviously the power tape. We have an underlay coming around the toe box just to keep it off your toes, a little bit of reinforcement along the eyelet chain. Now the MagMax does have that extra hole in case you suffer from a little heel slip, but again, I didn't. I had a great heel lockdown in the MagMax. Now the tongue is a little different. The tongue is almost like a knit material, and the tongue is surprisingly thin for this type of shoe. You know, usually when we're talking about daily trainers or max stack height trainers, brands tend to go overboard on the padding and give you a nice thickly padded tongue. I say nice, I'm not really a fan of those tongues, but the MagMax kind of goes in the other direction. It's a fairly thin knit tongue. It is nice and stretchy, so when you pull it just creates a nice tight fit around your foot. Now we can see this giant lace loop here on the front, also pulling double duty as a pull tab, and the tongue is gusseted on both sides. Now the beauty of the MagMax is that the tongue gusset is fairly tight, which I am absolutely here for, because when you put your foot into the MagMax, that tight gusset around your foot really gives a nice feeling of security, which is going to come into play later when you actually start running. But we'll get there, hold on. Now I should say that this gusset on the tongue is not constricting in any way. It doesn't feel like you're putting your foot into a sock. It's like Goldilocks. It's just right. Anyway, the real star of the show on the MagMax is the midsole, and that's because it's Puma's biggest stack of Nitro foam they've ever put in any shoe. And if you're a fan of Nitro foam, you know why this is such a big deal. The Nitro foam, as the name suggests, is nitrogen infused, and what that does is make a nice light compound that is resilient and has a little bounce to it. I mean, I say a little bounce. This is definitely more bouncy than either the Hoka Skyflow or the Mizuno Wave Sky 8. So you're probably wondering, does that bouncy foam kind of take this shoe out of what you might think it's been designed for? So we're talking easy runs, recovery runs, kind of daily training, maybe long runs? No, it doesn't. I did actually take this shoe out on a tempo run, and while I thought it was comfortable, while it performed well, I think the weight of the shoe actually holds it back from being that kind of performer. But the MagMax isn't trying to do something that it wasn't designed for. Puma has a lot of other options if you want to run fast. This is if you want to combine running in comfort with running in style. Well, I guess guess style is subjective, but comfort isn't. Well, maybe it is too. But anyway, this shoe is very comfortable. Is that coming across? Let's just take a look at the outsole, and of course we have got world famous Puma grip. I did run in the rain in this shoe, and I didn't slip at all. And we have a lot of Puma grip. You can see that full coverage up on the forefoot. I am very happy to see we have this exposed nitro foam here, because that's just saving a little bit of weight. And then what is going to be difficult for you guys to see here on the heel is actually how thick this outsole rubber is. It's very thick. And what ultimately that means is that it's going to take a long time to wear down. This shoe is going to be resilient. Now, I did take a look at this before I press record on the camera, but I'm going to look again right now for your benefit. And I tell you what, guys, I am amazed how little wear I have on this Puma grip outsole rubber. I mean, yeah, here on my back heel, I am seeing just a little bit of wear, but absolutely nothing here on the forefoot. Like, if it wasn't dirty, I wouldn't think I even ran in it. So I know $180 is a lot of money, especially for a daily trainer, but it's comfortable and it will last a long time. So I know we already talked about the ride of the nitro foam, but let's dig a little deeper into that, because you're probably thinking 46 millimeters in the heel, 38 in the forefoot, it's nitrogen injected foam. Is it going to be too plush, too soft? No, it's really not. And that is what I loved most about the MagMax. It rode a lot more responsive than what I expected. Now, of course, again, with the 46-38, I did expect a little instability. And actually, now that I'm saying it, this was probably the biggest surprise. Because again, look at that. That is a wide base. Now, if I look at it from the top, look at this sole flare here on the side. This upper is actually fairly narrow compared with the base that it's riding on. And what that does to you, to me, as a runner, is it creates a very sturdy platform. And when I was running, when I was going around corners and running, jumping up on curbs and down curbs, I did take this on some very light shell trails. The stability was spot on. Like, I don't want anyone leaving this review thinking that because you have such a high stack height in the heel and forefoot, it's going to be unstable. It's not. This is not like a race shoe where you have to keep it in a straight line. The MagMax stays very stable when you get a bit squirrely. You know, I've got to say, this shoe, it fits what a lot of us do most of the time. Like, this is a daily trainer. There's a lot of stack. If you favor a high stack daily trainer, the Puma MagMax is definitely one that you need to take a look at. In fact, I'd say my only complaint, well, now I'm thinking that my complaints might not be fair, but at least for me, my only complaint is the colorway. Just not a fan of this black and white. Just looks a little boring. I've seen some of the other colorways that the Puma MagMax comes in, and they are absolutely fire. I suppose there's no accounting for taste, so that's not really a valid complaint. Would I like to have seen this shoe just a little lighter? Yes, but I think I could make the same complaint about every shoe that I review on this channel. And as this is not a speed shoe, and I feel like I may be harping on this just a little bit, that this is a daily trainer, long run recovery shoe, a shoe that you take to go out when you just want to feel good on the run. I've seen some people talking about the MagMax like it's a super trainer. My friends, don't believe that. It is not a super trainer. I've even seen some people comparing this shoe to the New Balance SC Trainer, to the Mizuno Neo Vista, and that, I think, is an unfair comparison, because where those other shoes, although they may be a similar price, they are made for totally different kinds of running. The Puma MagMax is a cruiser. It's a Cadillac of a shoe, right? When you put your foot down, you could pick up the pace because we got this nice responsive nitro foam. For the most part, you just want to put it on cruise control and run off into the sunset. All right, guys, now I want to hear from you. Okay, a couple things. Are you a fan of max cushion daily trainers? If you are, and you have one, which one are you currently running in? And what do you think of the Puma MagMax? Drop a comment and let me know. But for now, it's Matt V. This has been my review of the Puma MagMax. Be kind, be happy, run well. See you in a couple days.